Hey, how's it going? This is Mike over at J&B Financial. Hope you guys having a great day. Some of y'all have called my office, my mobile phone, sent emails, asking questions about some uh, some government programs that might be of interest to you, and particularly the child tax credit rebate that's coming this summer. Well, advance. It's a child tax credit advance coming this summer. July the 15th is supposed to be the day they start disbursing those funds. I'll go over there in 1 second. We also want to talk about the unemployment tax cuts. That's important too, because some people get that confused with the unemployment tax refund, and I'll explain how exactly that's going to work out in 1 second. And I want to talk to people who missed out on the opportunity to apply for the PPP. There might be the possibility that they could qualify for EIDL related to COVID-19, which is another COVID-19 relief program for small business owners only. And we're going to talk about some things you probably need to have in place if you want to successfully qualify for it. My company helps you prepare the applications and walk you through the process in most cases. Let's get to the point. I guess first thing is first, the child tax credit. They're doing an advanced on it. So one of the very important things to realize is that you're going to have the option to opt out of that advance, because this isn't going to be like the stimulus. So let's use a primary example. Let's say that your son lived with you in 2020 all year long, all right? And you were legally able to claim your son on your tax in 2020. So when you came to the office this year and you filed, you qualify for the child tax credit, right? But if your child moves out the household this year, 2021, and you take that child tax credit and he's living with another dependent, you could possibly owe that money back to the IRS. So you have to be very, very careful if you're expected. And keep in mind also, this program has certain amount of income sensitivity to it, meaning that it's really for head of household single parents who make no more than $75,000 a year, and for married couples that are making $150,000 a year. And at those points, it starts to phase out after each $1,000 over the phase out limits, which means if you're expecting a pay raise, if you and your wife or you and your partner work more and earn more money in 2021 than you did in 2020, which in a lot of cases, they're going to send that money based on your 2020 or possibly 2019 tax return. So if you've had some changes, you have to be a little bit careful, okay, when you accept that credit, because if they overpay you, you will owe that back in taxes somewhere down the line. So it's very important to realize that. Supposedly how it's supposed to work, you guys get half the credit right now in six, I guess that's 6 month-to-month payments in July, August, September, November. So yeah, 6 payments up until next tax season, next January, up to, this depending on the age of your dependents, of several $1,000s a month. But it was very, very important to realize, if you know in 2021 you had a lifestyle change as far as an increase in pay, or as far as one of the dependents no longer being in the household, or aging out of the program, then be careful with accepting that money, because it could come back and be a tax bill down the line if you're not entitled to it. And keep in mind also, if you take the money now, you won't be allowed to double dip and claim those tax credits again on your tax return. And I tell you guys a lot of things from experience. Last year there was a stimulus. We had a lot of delays this tax season, and one of the biggest reasons we had a lot of delays in the processing of income tax returns was because of people not doing it on purpose, but just not basically, how should I say, getting confused on the stimulus, or receiving the stimulus payments in the mail and not contacting us in time before we process the return. So this is something that we have to be a little careful for, because the stimulus payments, there was something in place that kept you from basically shooting yourself in the tailbone. Now with this child tax credit, from what I'm reading and from the videos I'm watching, I don't think you'll have that same safeguard in place. So if you file something incorrectly, it come back and it can be a tax debt for you down the line. Also, the possibility that what you don't claim now can be offset when you file your taxes due to, let's say, student loans not being paid, or back taxes owed from a situation where something wasn't filed correctly, or you just had a tax debt that year. So if you got questions about that, just drop me a comment or email me. I'm not gonna take the phone calls directly because we're busy doing the office setup for our new franchisees next year. But we do have somebody in place that can answer the questions by email, okay, or drop a comment somebody can answer on social media or the inbox. Next thing, unemployment tax credit. That's a good question. You got me saying it. It's not really a tax credit, so to speak, all right? Basically, it's a tax cut. So basically, the first $10,000 of your unemployment wages are not taxable if you're single. The first $20,000 of your household's unemployment would not be taxable if you're married. So what does that mean? If you filed your taxes last year and you had $25,000 unemployment, you're only gonna pay taxes on $15,000 of it. Now, so that means in most cases you would owe less taxes, have a larger refund if that was your sole source of income. Now, you have a lot of people in some situations who were low income. So when you remove you move that $10,000 taxable income, they already had zero tax. So it's kind of like, well, there's no a whole lot to give back. If there is anything to give back, if there is going to be additional refund after you file, the IRS will do their due diligence. And they will send you the money, either direct deposit or by mail in a fashion very similar to the stimulus check. TurboTax won't do it. Your tax return office, J&B Financial, won't do it, or any other tax office or preparer or tax professional that you use. The IRS corrects that. So if you're one of my clients, I'm pretty good about contacting you guys if we have any checks that pop up that we don't have how should I say it? During the stimulus, we'd have checks pop up in our system like, hey, look, who is this for? You look at it, it'd be identical to a stimulus payment. You call the taxpayer, you call the main office, the banking office, and make sure it makes sense. Then you release the funds to the taxpayer if it wasn't direct deposited. It's not supposed to come our way, but we've seen it happen before because the system of us using a third-party banking system. If it does come our way, we'll get it to you, no questions asked, or we return to the IRS. Sometimes it's not our call. Sometimes the guys up top make the call, but just give me a heads up on it. Most likely, the same way you received your tax return, it'll be the same way I'm pardon. Most likely, the same way you receive your your EIP, economic impact payments, or your stimulus payments, will be the same way you probably receive any type of child tax credit or unemployment refund. I think the ideal people who have unemployment refunds are the people who worked 4 or 5 months last month and they were making 50, 60 grand and they had to go on insurance. Had to go on work unemployment compensation for 2 or 3 months, 4 or 5 months, 6 months out the year. So next thing you know, they got $60,000, $70,000 in income, and this and they're gonna pay taxes. So what happens is you go and remove that $10,000 of whatever the unemployment was. Let's say you earn 40 grand and you pay and you had 20 grand unemployment. All right, they're gonna remove if you're single or head household, they're gonna remove that first 10 grand unemployment that you made in income. So that means instead of paying income on $60,000 before your standard deduction, you pay tax on income of 50. All right, then minus your standard deduction, then you pay taxes on that, right? Which in that case would be like you pay taxes on 37 grand or so, right? If you're low income, that means you're making less than $20,000 a year, and you have a family or multiple underage dependents, I don't see a lot of you guys getting refunds back in some cases, but it's just going to be case by case. Now, there's supposed to be a portal for the child tax credit. I know I'm jumping around. There's supposed to be a portal for the child tax credit, and I think there's one coming for the unemployment tax credit as well. But I can tell you right now, I mean, those things aren't going to work because at the end of the day, they're all going through where's my refund, the EIP, the stimulus payments. It's just these portals, God bless their souls. How should I say it? They did the best they could with what they had. To paraphrase Sky from Star Trek. At the end of the day, they're tech guys. They're not magicians. those systems can only handle so much, and there's millions of American taxpayers in some cases trying to check these things daily, constantly. The system can only do so much. I tell a lot of my clients to just call the IRS direct, see if you can get somebody on the telephone, check your mailbox. And in some cases, I just don't see some of my clients don't qualify. I don't think they're gonna qualify for the. And we're not talking about the child tax credit. We're talking about the unemployment tax credit, because at the end of the day, the extra 10K. I mean, in some cases, you guys weren't paying any income taxes anyway because your income level. I just don't see the 10K making a difference. But let's just see how it works out. Next thing, for you, my business owners out there, if you missed out on the PEP, pardon me, got me saying PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. Let's start here first. If your loan has been approved by the SBA, there's a good chance you'll get the funds that haven't dispersed yet, and that's if you have SBA approval. If your loan is still in the queue, that hasn't been kicked out yet, and it's being processed, I'm not going to say you got a good chance of getting it. I will say you're not totally out the game yet. If you haven't got an application in this late and it's not being processed, you're out the game. But PPP loan. But there's another product, the EIDL. The EIDL is not forgivable, but it does come with a grant, a $10,000 grant, and in some cases, additional $5,000 grant, which is potentially $15,000, which in some cases it would allow a lot of people getting from the PPP loans to extend operations. I'm talking about the smaller businesses, the sole proprietors, the mom and pop businesses like mine. Well, I got 1 or 2 subcontractors, so I don't have all the W-2 employees that the guys who were receiving the larger PPP loans were. So with that being said, I'll leave a link to the EIDL program. It's a good program. They will let you borrow money for a long term at very cheap interest rate if you qualify. If you haven't filed your business taxes, give us a call. You can probably need to file your business taxes. You won't get approved for that loan. They will look at your credit a little bit harder than some of the PPP loans. So some of the PPP lenders were. And keep in mind, this is a different program. And one thing I will say about the PPP, all lenders were not created equally. Some lenders work by a more traditional banking standard where they would go in and like run your credit. They want to see your business history. And you have some guys out there, once they heard the word forgivable and they can make $1 off of it, they was rubber stamping anything that came through the door. And I tried to steer my guys towards some of the better banks, like better lending partners, like Refunds, Lendio, SmartBiz.loan. I mean, SmartBiz loans. Some of the ones I used to help people out, but I saw some other ones that were probably a little bit more effective, but they were nowhere near as thorough in their due diligence, which is no concern of ours at the end of the day. Disappointed to make. So I just basically say I was right about the lending institutions, but the third party lenders that kind of popped up, I was not prepared for them. But it makes sense in hindsight. With that being said, the PPP is dead, right? But the EIDL is still alive. I'll leave links below. We can help you do the application you need help with. The application is deceptively simple. I mean, it seems like it's something very, very easy to fill out, but you need to pay attention to the instructions. You need to pull your tax returns out. You need to pull your financials out and make sure you answer things correctly, because you can have problems with that application if something is answered correctly. Now, they do have a reconsideration process. And I tell people all the time, I didn't get approved the first time. I gave up on it. Then I got a disbursement last year. I gave up on a grant last year. I got the grant this year. So one thing I will tell you is kind of, when you have all your things together, you have a good opportunity of getting access to the capital, but it doesn't always work picture perfect. So be prepared for reconsideration. Be prepared to file back taxes. Be prepared to keep your credit straight. Be prepared to be patient. I haven't seen anybody just walk up and apply. Maybe that's well. I've maybe seen 1 or 2 people just walk in, apply, and just and be approved within a week or so. Most people, especially in this year, 2021, as we get further away from the pandemic, it's taking longer. But the government does have a lot of money allocated to this program, billions of dollars. And they are more thorough, so it's not just flying out the doors like the money the PPP was. So if you got questions about applying for it, give me a call. If you got questions about unemployment tax credit, I don't want your phone call. but you are welcome to email our customer service department, and somebody will answer your questions. And I also leave some links below to help you answer these questions as well. If you have questions about the unemployment tax, about the child tax credit, we don't want to take a whole lot of those. We don't want those type of questions to tie our time up, but we will leave some links below to help you out. It's supposed to be a portal set up for it, but like I'm telling everybody, that portal is going to probably be overwhelmed and taxed with just a massive influx of people trying to contact everybody at one time. So this is Mike. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time. Please share this video with your family, with your friends, anybody might be interested in any of these programs, and get my page some more likes. I would greatly appreciate it. I owe you one day. With that being said, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.